Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and streaming on YouTube.
It is the Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. I'm CJ Baumgartner. That's Corey Tackman. Corey, we have a guest joining us on the program today. Why don't you introduce him?
Yeah, we've got New York Mills AD Matt Radniecki with us. Matt, thanks for taking some time in the Morning Sports Desk. We understand a pretty exciting thing happening this weekend.
Yeah, we have our Hall of Fame, Wall of Fame induction ceremony coming up on Saturday night, starting at 6 o'clock. And actually starts at 5 o'clock with a social, so we're pretty excited about that. An opportunity to honor some individuals and teams that have done some pretty outstanding accomplishments in their high school careers for us.
And, why don't we kind of just talk quickly here? How long has the New York Mills been putting on a Hall of Fame for its high school athletes? Just kind of talk about the history of that and kind of what kind of wanted you guys to start putting one together.
Well, actually, we got the idea from other schools, and we saw a lot of other schools had some nice ways to show their accomplishments of their individuals or teams. And so we just kind of started it here about this will be the fourth class that's being inducted into our Hall of Fame. So we're kind of new to it. And but at the same time, it's just getting it started and getting it rolling and getting those people in those groups that need to be recognized or, for outstanding accomplishments and being great people or having a chance to do that. So we just like to have the opportunity to do it, and it's a good way to showcase individuals and talent that's in our community and our school system.
Matt, if it's okay, let's run through the class of 2025. And, I understand there's going to be an unbelievable program set up this weekend. You mentioned some of the details. We'll mention them again, but let's run through this class. And if you could, just from your perspective, a highlight what makes them stand out in the Eagles community that makes them so deserving of this distinction.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's start with on top of my list is Howard Legrid, and where to start with Howard? His biography is deep and wide, isn't it?
Yeah, Howard's just done. He's been a community person since day one. He came into this community, and when I first moved here, the first thing I saw was the Howard Legrid pool. So I was coming to do my interview at the school, and I drove by the Howard Legrid swimming pool. And just one of the many things that he's done for our community and to be on the Wall of Fame. I'm a very civic-minded person, very person who just cares about kids and opportunities for individuals in our community and help provide many, many opportunities for kids and, teams to do things. And also the kind of successful girls basketball and his daughter was a big part of that. So
what can you tell us about Richard Eriksrud?
Same thing. Rich Eriksrud is another guy that's a long-standing community member who put his roots down here and really started our wrestling program for us. But again, he was a school counselor for many years, helped kids out doing, in direction and career paths, and probably not a nicer, they're all nice people, but there's nobody nicer than Rich Eriksrud. He's just a quality individual, and everyone else can be just as nice as him, but he's just top to bottom. He's a 10. So Rich Erikson's done a lot of good things for us.
Matt, I know this is it's kind of the New York Mills story, but I was someone who did not grow up in central Minnesota. And when I moved here, everyone would look at me and be like, well, you've heard of the 1970s New York Mills girls basketball teams, haven't you? And of course,
yeah.
That's it's Lundboats and New York Mills girls basketball. The 1973 team makes it.
Yeah, and they're kind of the first group that got it all started. It was kind of the infancy stage of girls basketball in Minnesota, and they brought a lot of notoriety not only to the state of Minnesota for that, but to women and Title IX and sports and women in sports in the area. And not, like I said, not just basketball, but softball and other activities coming up. It was the start of a lot of things that have given women a chance, to young ladies a chance to participate in more than just a few activities. And getting recognized by a lot of people in the high school league. So it's wonderful. The great group of ladies, some of them crossed over and played in some teams later on too. So, not just the 1 year, but they played in other state tournament teams. But again, a chance, a lot of them went into education, became teachers, some were coaches. So it's just kind of neat to see the uniqueness of that group.
You know, and another storied program at New York Mills is that wrestling program, and a number of pretty amazing individuals to come out of Eagles wrestling over the years, two of them being honored this weekend, the first of which is Terry Weller. What can you tell us about Terry?
Well, you know, Terry was just a great individual, too. I mean, he just, with the Dean Salos and the eras there where we had some state champions, Terry was one of the first ones to be a state champ. But again, I just think he brought a lot of notoriety. Those two guys wrestled against each other in the restroom their whole careers. And we'll hear some of those stories this weekend, but at the same time, brought the best out in everybody else, not only themselves, but others in the team, and kind of gave us, knowing, you know, Staples Motley, and we had some really strong wrestling programs as we do now. And at the same time, it was really good for us to hear that and see that. But Terry brought a lot of good positivity. Yep. So that's great to hear. So.
And then finally, the last name I have on my list, hopefully I didn't miss anybody, was Joel Kumpala. What makes Joel so deserving of this recognition?
Well, Joel and I are about the same age, so I was a little kid growing up, so I wasn't here. But I tell you one thing about Joel, you know, I hear about is one class. When he wrestled, there was one class. Mm-hmm. He wrestled against everybody, and that's a distinction that's different than, you know, Terry and I was a two-class system. But at the time when Joel was wrestling, Minnesota was just a one-class wrestling tournament then. To do what he did, and many people said he was the first really, truly outstanding wrestler we had in our community. And again, I think, you know, you can't say what that probably brought, and the kids have brought into the program, and those kids wanted to wrestle and be like him, you know. So it was interesting to see that and hear those stories. Yeah.
And, you know, how important, Matt, is it to be able to not only have this to recognize the accomplishments and to recognize the big things that that those individuals have done for New York Mills, but also how important is it just to kind of show those younger generations, like, hey, these are some of the athletes that have come before you and done some really amazing things?
Yeah, I think it is. And I think, you know, they've been very successful people in their careers in life. And I think that's what sports can be, a springboard. You know, activities can be a springboard for people to, and young kids to set off and set their goals and their career paths and have a lot of success in those areas. So, you know, I think that's something that we see a lot of, and it's just great to see that. Like I said, a lot of them are very successful individuals in their chosen fields, and we should be proud of them, and they should be proud of what they've done, being mentors and leaders for our kids.
Yeah, I appreciate that perspective, Matt, because we talk a lot in high school sports about how it's the life skills, right? It's preparing you for the next level. Yeah. For some kids, they get to move on. Most kids do not. So it's nice to see that come full circle with these inductions of people who are involved and important in Eagles athletics in their career, but how they stayed and impacted the community on top of that. I appreciate that kind of full circle moment that happens with these Hall of Fame inductions. Yeah,
and it is. It's neat to see that. And you see the crossover and how they supported each other too, with the wrestling and the girls basketball and so on. So it's great to hear that and see that and hear those stories. And like I said, we'll see those and hear those on Saturday night again.
And one more time, Matt, why don't you just give us kind of some of that info again for maybe those who are just hearing about it. Just talk about when it is, where it's at, and kind of the timeline of events this weekend.
Yeah, so we're going to start off with a 5 o'clock social, and it's going to be at the high school this year, right in front of our auditorium. It'll be 5 to 6 will be a social, and then the induction ceremony will take place in our high school auditorium starting at 6 o'clock. And we anticipate that to take a couple hours to 8 o'clock, and then we'll be done. And then afterwards, we'll be fellowship and time just to reminisce and talk with each other if we want to, or carry on or whatever they want to do. So we'll have some flexibility. So.
All right. Well, in the meantime, then, before we let you get out of here, Matt, it's the spring season. And as AD, I'm sure you're pulling out whatever hair you have remaining and trying to get games scheduled and rescheduled. What are things looking like this spring at New York Mills?
Well, we're just trying to survive. I have choir competition today I'm directing, so I'm getting through choir competition today, area sec district competition. So you might hear some background noises and that, but at the same time, that's exciting for them. But yeah, we're looking forward to spring. You know, we're not there yet, but I hope next week, you know, if the weather will cooperate, we should be able to get on the field. But if not, we'll get it in. And it'll just be every spring will be hectic, but we always find ways. We got a lot of good ADs in the area. We always find a way to get those games in for the kids so they don't lose out on those opportunities.
And, with New York Mills, obviously, baseball is something every spring that everybody's looking forward to in that community. Defending section champions, the consolation champions in Class A last year. How excited are you to get to see New York Mills baseball in 2025?
Yeah, it just seems like, we talk about it, but every year, and even in the softball program, we went to the section finals last year, and we just seem to reload. We've been fortunate enough to have a lot of good athletes here and good coaching staffs that do a wonderful job with our kids and feeder programs that bring our kids up. But we just seem to find the right mesh at the right time of the year. And yeah, we're excited for baseball and we're excited for softball, but we're excited for track and other sports too. But at the same time, we are a big baseball community and people are looking forward to it and they're anxious to get out in the field. And I am anxious to get out there too. I enjoy watching a good baseball, softball game too. So, hopefully that weather cooperates and we all get out there soon.
Well, Matt, we appreciate you taking some time and keeping us up to speed of what's happening at New York Mills. Congratulations to you and everybody involved in putting this Hall of Fame induction together for this weekend. And obviously a huge congratulations to all those being inducted in this weekend. It's a big deal. And we're glad you were able to take a time here to tell us a little more about it.
You bet. Thanks, guys, for giving me the opportunity to do this. And we hope to see a lot of people there Saturday night for the event. And if not, if they see these people, give them congratulations. They're very well deserving and have done a lot, like I said, not only in their high school, but also their career paths to help kids and help people out. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
New York Mills Activities Director Matt Radniecki joining us on the Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.